Hello, I'm Mohammed Omar, and this is my project one for CS50 mobile app development with React Native, which is a Pomodoro timer app. And it's a time management method that uses a timer to separate your work into intervals and switches between them. And traditionally, it's a 25 minutes work and then 5 minutes break. And my app allows you to switch between these intervals, and when the timer reaches 0, it vibrates and switches to the next interval and so forth. And now let's take a look at my Pomodoro timer app. Just click on the start button here and the timer is on, and you can pause and resume it from the same button here. And the Pomodoro timer defaults are 25 minutes work and 5 minutes break, and you can change these timers to any amount of time you want in minutes and seconds. And now for the demonstration purposes, I'll set my work timer to only 10 seconds and the break timer to only 5 seconds so that you can see that change. And the timer is changed correctly. And when the timer reaches you, it vibrates, but you can hear it only on a physical device. Then the timer switches to the break timer and so forth. And the reset button here resets the timer and starts with the work timer, but with your new timer's amount of time, not the default one. And if you clicked on the footer, you will lead to my LinkedIn profile. And that's my app. Now let's walk through my code. First, import React and component from React. And import text view, keyboard, touchable opacity, touchable without feedback, and linking from React Native. And import styles from styles, which is my style sheet. And import the vibrate, which is the vibrate function, and import some components that I'll show you it later while walking in the code. And import a footer from footer that includes the footer content. And these are some global variables for the default work and break timers. And here's the state. And I put this state start button frame here because the changeable start button background color to be able to change it in live. And the toggle function here just to change the resume both toggle state to the opposite of its value to start or both resume the timer and return toggle action function. And the toggle action function here will change the start button background color and the return start timer function that will start the timer. And here's the start timer function that will call set interval that will update minutes counter state and the seconds counter state every second to start the timer. And the normalized digits function is declared here, and it will take care of the returned individual numbers and put a 0 before them, and if the state is 0, make it double zeros for the design purposes. And then the switch function here that switches the timers from work to break and vice versa. And the reset timer function here will clear all intervals and reset the timers and switch to the work timer. And these four functions are for change the timer's amounts in live action when a user input a new timer amount in minutes or seconds. And here we render the React Native of the app. First, touchable without feedback is for demissing the keyboard like this. And without it, you will never be able to demiss the keyboard like this. So it's really helpful, and I know it just by reading the documentation. And here is the main view, and here is the title, and the timer counter is declared in a separate file here that just returns the timer counter. And the input tag here is declared in a separate file too that just returns the text input field. And the text input pattern is just to return my own default input text props. And here is the buttons. And the touchable opacity tag is just for the buttons frame. And this empty text just for styling purposes. And finally here is the footer, and the footer content are declared in a separate file just to make my code cleaner. And that's how my Pomodoro timer app works. Hope you like it, and thank you for watching.